What is up, guys? Today we have a pretty big project that we are undertaking in the Z, and that is going to be to put in a bunch of sound deadening. So the Z really has kind of a lot of stock sound deadening. I'll show you guys in just a bit here, but I really want to just make it the most luxurious, like kind of GT car that it can possibly be. Now that we're getting a bunch of power mods, we're going to go ahead and focus a little bit on the interior and just make it as good as possible. So what I went ahead and did is bought this on Amazon. This is from a company called Mat66, and it is a similar piece of sound deadening to a more expensive brand, but I think this is just the more expensive one repackaged with a little bit different colors and everything, because it has literally the exact same description between the two, and this one was 50 square feet for, I believe it was like $56 or something. So I went ahead and got this. They're just sheets like this. This one I think is 50 mil. This one is 50 mil. I think you can get 80 and even thicker. So the thicker you get, obviously, the more sound deadening you're going to be able to have. But also at the same time, it's going to be heavier. Not that I really care about weight, because this is a GT car. But I also went ahead and bought this along with it. It is just a little roller. This one specifically has a it's not squishy, but it's not hard. It's kind of like plastic material on the end, just to kind of help get around any bumps and crevices. Because, if you can't tell, there's a lot of bumps and crevices. So if you guys are really interested in how to kind of take the interior apart to this level, I have a video on how to replace the carpet in your car. And it goes over the whole process of taking out seats and everything. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and replace the carpet in here anyway, because if you guys watched that video, you know I bought my carpet from Rock Auto, and I had to cut it. It came in a bunch of sections, and I had to cut it myself, and it was a lot of work, and it did not hold up. It's been maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years at this point. I don't know. It's been a few years, but it pretty much fell apart on the hatch piece, and then the interior pieces were not really doing too good. And the adhesive it came with did not really hold in very well either. You can see all this dark yellow. That is adhesive that I put on when I put the carpet in, and the carpet just came off of it. So it didn't really do a good job at all. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and put in some sound deadening. I'm also going to put it in my doors. The doors are big hollow pieces, so it really helps a lot to put it in the doors. You can see I still have the glass in this one, and I just kind of put the armrest on for now because I was moving it around. But we will go ahead and take all that off. I think I'm going to try to leave the glass in when we do this because, you know, this is our biggest section right here, so we can't really fit many pieces in other than this. So we're just going to slide it up as far as we can and then do what we can. It's not going to be, you know, perfect, but I don't think it'll be terrible. I think it'll work, and it's definitely going to help rather than do nothing. So we'll try that as well. Onto the interior. If you guys have the stock carpet that you're taking out, it'll actually be pretty straightforward. If you guys remember, if you guys saw the video when I did my carpet, there were a bunch of these padded like foam pieces. You can see I've got them all around up here, and they were stuck to the original carpet. I tore them off and then put them back on the flooring here when I did new carpet, so that I had a little bit of padding on my floor, and I used spray adhesive. Fortunately or unfortunately, the spray adhesive worked really well on those pads, and not so much back here. You can see there's a little bit left, but up here, you know, I pulled the carpet off and there's still another layer of carpet. So we can't really put sound deadening on carpet. It has to really be on a flat surface, because the majority of the sound deadening comes from it being perfectly stuck to whatever surface it's on, which is why we have that roller, if you guys remember. So we're going to go ahead. This over here, back here, didn't really do too good, and then up in the front, it's not terrible. But we're going to go ahead and do our best to get the rest of that carpet off, just because we're not going to be able to put sound deadening on it. You know, if we try, it's just going to flop around. It's not going to do anything. And I do actually kind of want to save the biggest chunks that I have here for putting it back on top again. So when we do put the new carpet in, it will actually, you know, be soft. I'm sure you can get this thick stuff probably on Amazon, to be honest, or somewhere else, and then just cut it up yourself. But I don't want to do that. It costs money, and I don't really need to do it. And this is just more of a comfort feel. So we're going to go ahead and do our best. I've also went ahead and stripped the trunk. You can see I've got it nice and open here. If you guys don't remember, I did cut a hole in my trunk for my fuel pump because I am running AN lines, and they hit to the top with these 90-degree fittings. So if you guys do that, make sure to get a much shallower 90-degree. But that is okay. We're going to go ahead and put on the majority of this. We can't obviously do over there. There's more carpet. I'm not even going to bother trying to take that out. It is, you know, I didn't even put that in there, and it's stuck. So that is original Nissan carpeting. But we'll try to do our best to get around all this. We can cut up the sound deadening pretty small and try and get it into these little places here just to get the maximum amount of coverage. Pretty much anything we can do is going to help. You know, it's really not that bad. I'll go ahead and I forget how heavy that carpet is. I want to say it was 0.35 pounds per square foot. So it's actually not the heaviest stuff in the world. I think the whole package is probably around 20 pounds, a little bit less. I can go ahead and weigh it, and so it's not really too bad. We're only going to be adding a little bit of weight in here, but I think we're going to see some pretty big returns. So enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and put everything in here, and I'll just take you guys along. This is really not going to be the how to do it kind of video. This is more of a I did it, here's how it went kind of video, because it's pretty dirty. My car is extremely dirty. And really, if you wanted to actually put the sound deadening in, you'd really want to get it super clean. And I am just not that detail-oriented, and I really don't have the patience to get it super clean. So we're just going to put it on top of this, hope it for the best, and then we'll see how it goes. So stick around. Alright guys, as you can see, I've pretty much got the whole thing done. This is pretty close. I still have probably another hour or so of work just putting everything back in. But that is for another time. But I got all this laid down. It looks really, really good. I still have some more left over. If you guys remember, I bought 50 square feet of this, and I still have probably another 10 sheets or so. They're not very thick, so I got a lot of sheets left. But so I might go ahead and double layer some of this, specifically like the trans tunnel, just because that's going to be where a lot of heat and then energy is coming from. I did the back kind of seat area right here. If you can see, I did the trunk. This one I don't think is going to have like a very big impact on what is going on, but I wanted to do it just because I actually started here just so that I could get a nice easy like access to it and then see how it went down. And then if I had any issues, you know, it wouldn't be in the main cabin. But that's looking pretty good. I also went ahead and did the doors a little bit. I would have loved to do more on these, but there's not really a lot of room. So you can see I did 2 layers right there, actually, a little spot up there, and then just a few pieces in there. And then actually inside the door itself has a few. See if I can show you guys those. So there's like an upper layer and then a lower layer, and this lower one stretches up to the front here. And I got a little patch in there. These ones, I would have loved to do more because these doors are very hollow, and putting in all this mass will really help kind of take any energy and sound away from it that you're getting into it. But you know, it's not very much access, and it's very dirty in there. And I remember, like I said earlier, I didn't really want to clean any of this, so it is going to be how it is. I did the other door too. I already put the door card on that one. But that is just how this is going to be. I did both doors, and then finally I also did the roof. Now this is kind of optional. I don't think it's actually going to do much for sound. You know, it might help with wind a little bit, but really what I wanted to do this for was because I live in New Mexico and it gets really hot in the summer. So I think this is going to be some good insulation on my roof so that when it gets hot, it does not burn my head all the time. So I did, so there are 2 bubbles right there and over there where the heads go on the back passengers, and I double lined those just because I could. I could put more, but I don't think it's really going to do much. And then I went ahead and came forward a little bit in this T for the T-tops. I could go a little bit further, but you can't do this front part, or at least I'm scared of doing the front part, because if you look at the headliner, let me show you. This front part here is just kind of flat, versus the other parts have this ridge and like it goes down. So I think that this front part's pretty thick as is, and it doesn't really want to move. So I think if we were to put some up there, it would just push the headliner down and it wouldn't be happy. So other than that, I think this is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together, and once I do put this back together, I'm going to go ahead and take it for a road test. I went ahead and drove it beforehand and took some decibel readings at idle and 50 miles an hour, and I'll go ahead and do it again, and we can see what the difference is, and if I feel like there's a difference noticeably in the feel, because that's really what this is for. We just want a nice, quiet cruiser. We're not straight piped for a reason, because that would be a little bit too much for what this car is going for. But so let's go ahead, skip forward into the whole interiors put back in, and see how it sounds. Well, guys, it has been almost 7 months since I put in the sound deadening. There has been a lot of progress between then and now. If you guys have been following the channel, you know that I put in a new transmission. I did a whole engine wiring harness, nice sealed end-to-end mil-spec connector. Looks really nice. I don't know if I made a video on it, but I redid the carpet again because it was just deteriorating. The one that I had before just didn't last very long. So I actually did that right after I did the sound deadening. I don't think I made a video on it because I already have made one, but just in case you didn't know, that's how it is. But I finally had the chance to drive it and actually see how everything sounded. So I took some decibel meter, like before and afters, and honestly, there wasn't really any difference. It's about 65 decibels idling, and then about 75 decibels around 45-50 miles an hour. So I honestly couldn't say that there's a huge difference. As for temperature, I have absolutely no idea. I really didn't take any sample measurements beforehand, and I honestly don't know how well that would even come out, just due to like day temperatures, and you know, time in the sun and stuff. But overall, I still think it was a really, really good upgrade. It's definitely, I really like the insulation around the transmission tunnel. I know that this didn't really have an issue with the trans tunnel getting super hot before, but it's definitely going to help. And as well as putting it on the roof. 2+2s have a much wider section here. It's almost an extra foot between here and here, I believe. So there's a lot more space for a 2+2, but if you have a coupe, you might be able to get away with similar stuff. Regardless, I think it is super cool, and it's definitely something to check off the box of being able to say you have done on your car. So there you go, guys. I'm going to leave you here. If you have any questions or comments about the process, definitely drop a comment down below. Hopefully I'll remember to link the products that I used down below. They're just regular links, not any sponsored links or anything like that. But I hope you guys thought it was enjoyable to watch, and hope you think it looks as cool as I do, because I think it looks really super sick. But there you go, guys. I will see you guys next time.